Bookworms. Today I'm here with Cassie and Melissa for our November Spines with Wines book club. I almost grabbed the wrong book there, but we are going to be discussing Heartless by Marissa Meyer. And if you guys want to just introduce yourselves and tell us what wine you're drinking.
Sure. I'm Melissa, and once again, I am drinking this wine because I had another, but I mean,
what is it?
It's Love Noir, but it's sultry rose.
Shut up!
I mean, it looks just like the book. It has
Keep going.
Really cool little thing, and you know, the name itself was perfect. So I was like, okay, I still have this. I'm gonna drink it. So I am.
Well, great minds think alike, because I'm drinking Love Noir Pinot, which is described as every wine has a darker side, which I thought was interesting. And it's made with dark cherries and rich espresso.
Nice.
Very nice. Yeah. And I am drinking Once Upon a Vine, a charming Pinot. And my friend Jill gave it to me in the bridal shower, and I was saving it for something special. And this is perfect because this is like fairy tale-esque. So
perfect.
There we go. And also, I had major issues. Couldn't open this wine bottle, so you might notice that the cork is actually in the middle of it because we just had to use a hammer to push it in. And that's how my morning's going.
Whatever works.
Cassie, do you want to give a synopsis of the book since you're our Alice in Wonderland expert?
Oh, yes. Oh, shit. I almost just knocked over my whole bottle of red wine. I feel like I should show off my Alice collection.
Yes.
It's like my little Alice corner. Got that. Got some more. Sure, this is making everyone really nauseous. Okay.
She even had an Alice in Wonderland themed wedding.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay, so this book is a prequel to both of Lewis Carroll's books, but with a focus on the Queen of Hearts. And basically what she was like before Alice came to Wonderland, which was a kind of bitchy rich girl who liked baking. And that is what this story is about. So in the book, the king wants to marry her, and she's like, you're gross and short, and I'm not into you. And then she meets the court jester, who she immediately falls in love with, and she has to choose between the two of them. And that's the book. Right? Was that good?
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
So how faithful do you think that Marissa Meyer's story was to Lewis Carroll's original source material?
I thought she took a lot of liberties, especially with combining like the pumpkin eater and like all that kind of stuff. But I mean, this was like a prequel, if you will. So I think, you know, towards the end when she's like how she is towards the end, I thought it was pretty close to the material. And I did like the Mad Hatter's interpretation. I think he was neat. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was fairly close, but she did take a lot of liberties.
I have read so many Alice in Wonderland retellings, and they're all pretty bad. So this one I thought tried to be faithful. I mean, you always have that problem where the author tries really hard, and there's some stuff that come across as kind of silly. Like, oh, the hare's name is Hare, but spelled like, I don't know. That was weird, stupid. But I could tell she was coming from a place of love, which I appreciated. So as far as that goes, she was trying to be faithful, and I did appreciate all the cute little tie-ins, like the mock turtle and stuff. So overall, good job. You rose above all the crap I usually read.
Yeah. I thought it did a good job. Like Melissa said, she definitely took a whole bunch of liberties. But I enjoyed some of those, particularly what she did with the Raven, how she used Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven to craft like a lot of the Raven's lines in the story. I thought that was really cute. And I thought it was good. Like, I enjoyed the book. So do you think it was like a successful Wonderland retelling?
I think so. I mean, it had a lot of the elements and a lot of the characters. My favorite was the Cheshire Cat. Too little of him in the story, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it was pretty good. I mean, I haven't read as many as Cassie has, but
They're all garbage.
the kinds I have read were always like okay at best and like really terrible. So I thought it was pretty successful in that respect.
Yeah, as far as adaptations goes, I don't know if it's because it was a prequel, so it worked better. I can't remember ever having read a prequel. Most of the ones I read are like, this is about a girl named Alice, and she's related to the real life Alice Liddell, or she fights zombies or something, or she falls into Wonderland. Isn't she great? No. So maybe the prequel was the right way to go, because I did appreciate this adaptation a lot more than everything else I've ever read.
Me too. I thought that it really added like just fun backstory to certain things that seemed like they would be a logical backstory. She wasn't really like warping the current world. She was just kind of giving us more to go off of, which I thought was nice. So did you like the world of Hearts, or did you think that, like, did it satisfy you, or do you think that she should have explored certain areas more?
I liked it, but I wasn't satisfied because she would give us little teases of kind of like the quirky, cool things. And I wanted more of it. I wanted more of a picture of what it was. So I feel like she teased us with really cool images, and I liked it, but I wanted more.
Hearts is a silly place. I felt like we were teased with chess, and I was like, ooh, we're going to go to chess, and I was all excited, and then I was like, oh, there's only like 60 pages left. There's no way we're going there. And we didn't, so I did miss out on that. But I did enjoy Hearts for what it was. It was ridiculous and stupid. Everyone seemed happy there.
Yeah, I liked that it was nonsensical as it's supposed to be. I also really would have liked to see chess. That's the only reason that I'm kind of hoping that there could potentially be some kind of sequel, even though it's a prequel, so there can't be like too much more story. But I just want to see the other worlds. Like, I get that she's evil now, and I'm fine with that, but I'm ready to like see a little bit more of what was going on. Before I go into the next question, my cousins Kevin and Jake just texted me and said that they're watching, so I'm just saying hi to them.
Hi.
What did you guys think about Marissa Meyer's wordplay?
I liked it. I thought it was kind of simplistic at times, but very addicting as usual. And I love, like what you mentioned before when she did the Edgar Allan Poe references and the poems. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I liked it. It was very simple, but fun.
I liked her new answer to why is a raven like a writing desk? What was the?
Yeah,
like,
that was it. Yeah,
they both have quills dipped in ink or something. So that was really clever.
Yeah,
but I did hate the what was it? Okay, so the March Hare's name is Hare, but it was spelled like really stupid
or something,
and it drove me nuts. And it had like a G in it and like a bunch of I's and stuff. And she was like, they were like, oh, it's pronounced like mare, but hair. And I was like, oh, God. So that was my only complaint. That drove me nuts every time he would come up. Could not stand that. I wish I just left that out.
I liked the things that she did do, with the exception of that as well. But I think that I would have liked to see maybe some more poems, because I felt like there were a lot more poems in Alice in Wonderland, and there weren't too many in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is something that she could have maybe...
What about all those poems? Your hair is like chocolate cake and buttercream.
I mean, like, good poems.
That's like the kind of poem I would write.
I know this is actually like different from our usual book clubs, because usually we talk about characters first, but there was just so much like with the world, and everyone already has his backstory, so I felt like it made sense to talk about all the world building first. But so as far as like the scenes go, if you could experience one of those scenes in person, like which scene would you want to live in for a little while?
Oh, easy. The masquerade scene. Like, hands down, I'm so into the masquerade aesthetic. I don't know if it was David Bowie in a Labyrinth, but regardless, it's my favorite thing, and I would live in that forever. So that, for sure.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I think I'd go for the Mad Tea Party, though, at Hatta's shop. It seemed like really fun. Get to try on all those silly hats, and they just seemed like a group of interesting people. You know, minus the murder at the end.
Yeah, that was mine too. I really would love to have gotten to that tea party, but I wouldn't want the Jabberwocky to show up at the end.
As long as you weren't wearing orange, you were cool.
Well, we know that now, but at the time we didn't. So, what was your favorite dessert that was mentioned in the book?
Definitely the macaroons. They just sounded so like fluffy and perfect and pretty. And I mean, like, obviously they were so good if the Hatter made her a hat out of one. So just even imagining like the hat being like squishy and poofy, like he described, made me want to eat it. So yeah, that.
This book made me so hungry.
I know.
So hungry. It was ridiculous. Probably, well, I'm going to say that pumpkin cake, but if it wasn't cursed.
Yeah, that wouldn't end well.
Sounds delicious, but I don't want to turn into a monster.
I am torn between those lemon tarts, like right in the beginning on the first page. I was just like, wow, that sounds so good. Either those or the key lime pie that she made at the end for the king, because I love key lime pie so much. So I really want both of those like immediately. I was so hungry while I was reading this. I just wanted to like
I made a pie after I read this.
Really?
A hard pie? Remember I
saw that.
Yeah.
That was really cute. That's so funny. I could totally understand why. Okay, so there seemed to be a lot of differences between hearts and chess, but we really only had a view of hearts. Between the two, is there a world that you preferred? And do you think that they were like as different as Jest and Hatta made them to be out, or do you think they were more similar?
Chess for sure. It sounds way cool. Hearts seems kind of like fake and boring. I mean, not boring and like, you know, obviously it has like cool, weird things going on, but like everyone's so happy and like fake and perfect. And I don't like that. Does not sound fun. I'd rather be somewhere like awesome with magic and cool shit and like, you know, real personalities and people.
As silly as Hearts is, Chess seems kind of war-torn and obnoxious, and I don't know if I want to live there necessarily. I don't know. Sounds like it's never... I live in neither. Can I just like live in the well in the middle of the maze? No, that's where I'm going to go. Hearts is too silly and pretentious, and Chess is full of warring monarchs. So I'm just going to chill out with those sisters in that well. That'll be fine.
I think I would probably live in Hearts because I would want to eat Cap's baked goods. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live in a place with war because I'm a huge chicken, and I don't think that I'd be able to handle that. I would be so anxious all the time. So I'd rather deal with like the silly society in Hearts than something as stressful as chess.
I would probably go to war.
But
Melissa wants to fight in the revolution.
Yeah.
Kristen wants to wear pretty dresses.
and eat.
Cassie wants to drink in the well. So.
I just want to be immortal. I don't know.
Okay, so now finally getting into the characters. Kath is our main character, but what did you think about her wishy-washy decision-making throughout the book and about like the timing of her eventual decision?
Oh my god, I could not stand it. It was so annoying. Like I get it. You don't want to piss off your parents. You don't want to hurt the feelings of the king, but like grow a pair. You know, obviously she grew one way too late because like everyone died and became unhappy and she got evil or whatever. But I think it drove me crazy. I was just like, girl, you need someone to be like, make up your mind, you know, stick with something and like adhere to it. Like she was hurting everyone. It's like the people that have like 5 boyfriends at once and like can't make up their mind, or like girlfriends, you know.
You had 5 boyfriends at once. That sounds like a lot.
I mean, it's like really intense, but I'm sure it happens.
5 girlfriends at once. Absolutely. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot to handle.
Yeah, it was just driving me nuts. Like I was just shaking the book sometimes. I'm like, make a decision, stick to it. You know, like if you want to do it for other people, then do it for other people. If you want to do it for yourself, then like by all means. You cannot have both. I think that's like kind of the moral of the story, but it drove me nuts.
Yeah, I felt bad for her because, like, I'm not a lady. Like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. How old are your cousins? Can I say that?
That's fine.
Okay, cool. So, like, I felt bad for her, but at the same time, like Melissa said, you just want to be like, girl, you love the Joker. Just, if she had been upfront with the king in the beginning, like, it wouldn't have been as big of a deal, but because she just, like, drew him on and played this whole thing out and it got more and more complicated, and she waited till, like, her parents were basically expecting her to marry the king to be like, well, actually, I want to open a bakery. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
And you knew they were going to say no.
Yeah.
And I did admire that she kept, like, trying, but then she was like, oh, well, I'll just marry the king and, like, rip out my heart. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it really irritated me the whole time because she kept, like, she just had, like, these fantasies of what was going to happen, but without her actually doing anything to, like, try to change anything. And she could have just said to her parents, like, I don't like the king, I don't want to marry him.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't do that. And she just kept, like, kind of, I don't know, it reminded me of, like, of Hamilton, like, if you stand for nothing, what will you fall for? And it just happened, like, too late.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a line in the book that was from Hamilton, and I was like, ooh. They were asking Kath a question. I forget. It was during one of, like, the party scenes, and she said, "I'm sure I don't know what you mean." And then I just immediately started singing the rest of that song in my head.
So many hidden Hamilton lyrics in YA now.
I know, between this and Crooked Kingdom was, like, chock full of Hamilton.
Crooked Kingdom. Like, I was choking on that.
But yeah, she really, really annoyed me because she just was like, she wanted to do certain things, but she didn't take action to try to do them as soon as she should have. So I didn't really, I just, like, it just drove me nuts. And then it seemed like she gave up so quick on what she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think that her descent into the role of Queen of Hearts was believable? And were you sympathetic toward her at all?
When I first read it, I was like, okay, this seems like a really intense reaction. And I wasn't that sympathetic. I was just still kind of, like, annoyed at how everything played out, how she was, like, too late, and, like, and I was also annoyed that she went through the freaking door to save her friend that betrayed her in the first place. Like,
we'll get into that. But
we'll get there. But after, like, a couple of days when I was just, like, kind of thinking about it, I actually do find it believable because I know if something, like, were to break my heart to that extreme, I would become evil too, because I have before. No, just kidding. So I kind of get it. I mean, like, he died and it was pretty bad, but, like, I don't think she should be. I mean, like, I get the need for revenge because that guy killed, or his wife, or he did. Yeah, that's right, he did. But I don't know. I felt like it was kind of a stretch too. Like, that's really intense. She seems so sweet-natured, and all of a sudden she's like, I'm gonna rip out my heart and, like, kill everyone.
No, I got a little bit of a dark side from her, like, a little bit throughout the book, where you were kind of like, I feel bad for you, but I don't know, you're kind of like a secret bitch, but I feel like you don't think you're a bitch, but you are a bitch. So by the time, I thought it was going in a different direction at first, where maybe he didn't die, but, like, they couldn't be together, and that's what drove her crazy, which I would find incredibly unbelievable. Then when they did the prophecy about him dying, I was like, I know where this is going. And then she became evil, and I was like, yes, queen!
Yeah, I didn't really feel much sympathy toward her. I didn't really like her as a character, and I think, like, even just in the beginning, she didn't really get close to anyone. Like, she just kind of, I don't know, there's just, like, something about her where she just was never close to any other people. Like, even Marianne, she was, like, sort of close to her, but Marianne worked for her, so it felt like
she kind of just wanted Marianne's brilliant mind versus, like, her friendship.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
yeah. I never felt like she had much of a connection with anyone. I think that she was definitely, like, evil under the surface, and this just, like, set her off.
Yeah.
What happens when you get raised like that?
I don't know.
Become the evil queen.
Did you think the romance between her and Jess was believable?
It felt very insta-lovey, in my opinion. There was no build-up. It was just like, oh my god, you know. But Jess was really hot, and I probably would have been taken with him after that performance, too. So I can't really say. I would have been really into that, especially if he was wearing eyeliner.
I was gonna say he was wearing eyeliner, so I feel like Melissa was like getting glow vibes.
I would have been like, yeah, into this. Personally, I would have insta-loved. But as far as the story goes, I could have used a little more build-up.
What if he was Eric Draven?
Oh, instant marriage soulmate, like, without a doubt.
Yeah, the problem with all these YA insta-love books, I'm like, I don't know, teens are full of hormones. Like, they can think they're in love when they're not, because they're just full of puberty.
Yeah.
Like, if I was an adult, I'd be like, okay, calm down, you have no idea who this man is. But she was like, but his eyeliner. He's a girl with love.
Yeah. I think that she definitely had like a very strong initial attraction to him. And I believe that she fell for him as quickly as she did because she pretty much hated her life. So he probably was like something exciting and different and dangerous and like not necessarily what she was supposed to be doing. So it was like a kind of like a rebellion. So I don't know if that she necessarily loved him, but she loved like the idea of like rebelling and doing something different.
Was he a teen too?
I think he was.
I just assume everyone is teenagers.
Yeah.
Okay. In the books that I read. What did you think about the romance between Margaret and Lord Warthog?
Actually, I liked that. Like, Catherine made her out to be this really insufferable character, and she was, like, kind of annoying with her dumb, made-up morals on the spot. But, you know, you could kind of see she was very, like, shy and insecure and not used to attention from men because, according to Catherine, she was very ugly, which I also thought was mean. But I liked it. I thought it was really sweet, actually.
My favorite part is when the king's marrying them and he's like, you know that's a pig. You're marrying a pig, right?
I know.
How dare you?
That was great.
I couldn't remember any of their names, so I was texting Kristen about where I was. I'm at the part with, like, Tusky McTuskerson is, like, in love with Marty McFly, but I meant these two. Yeah, I think that was a cute side story, even though he was a pig.
Yeah. It was weird that he liked pepper on all of his food.
I don't think he liked it. I think he just got used to it.
It was very weird.
Because in the original, there's a cook who makes everything with pepper, and she has a child who's a pig.
Oh.
So that's who that cook was. I thought that was a really cute tie-in.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was like, that's
yeah, she makes, like, everything with pepper.
okay.
Yeah, and they have a baby who's, like, a pig baby. I don't remember why.
Why not? It's hearts.
Yeah. Big babies.
I thought that their romance was really cute too. I liked that Lord Warthog had a crush on her for like the longest time, and that he tried to like get her friend to help her.
This is just like that Twilight Zone episode where everyone has pig faces.
Yeah.
And they think that normal lady is a hideous monster.
Yeah, she's like going through all those surgeries.
Oh god, she's hideous.
What is it? Eye of the Beholder, right?
Yeah. Maybe Margaret is really ugly, but he thinks she's beautiful. He's a pig. And what does he do?
He's a pig.
She really was a pain how she like tried to be like mightier than everyone else.
I just wanted to punch her in her.
Like a defense mechanism because she obviously was not that cute.
Yeah, but she was still annoying.
Yeah, so annoyed.
She was like, I'm just going to make up a moral that means...
It was insufferable.
Do you think that Marianne deserved her fate?
You mean like almost being eaten?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then not working for Kath.
Sure. Okay, so not working for Kath, yes, because she betrayed her and she is the reason why she went back and everyone died. So, yeah, I mean, not working for her, big deal. You're not working for her. That's not really that bad. You're still alive and kicking. So
I would argue that Peter is the reason she almost died because he kidnapped her and locked her in a pumpkin.
no, like
Don't victim blame Marianne, Melissa.
No, she's also the reason that she went back and like just died. Like,
Or is the person who killed Jess to blame?
yeah, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of Marianne. She betrayed
Okay. I thought she was fine. I thought she meant well, and she was just trying. And I also was really excited when I heard Marianne, because in the Disney movie, Marianne is like the White Rabbit's housemate, and he's always looking for Marianne. So I was like, Marianne's in this, and I was so happy. And then at the end, when Kath is like, I heard the White Rabbit's looking for Emily, I was like, ah!
That's cute.
I liked Marianne. I felt really bad for her. I think that she was just trying to be a good friend to Kath, and then Kath like made lots of really bad decisions.
You called her, you're just a maid.
Yeah. Although I did think it was a little bit distasteful at the end when Kath was like getting married and she was clearly miserable and the love of her life had just died, and Marianne was like, you haven't exactly offered me a job yet.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, are you kidding me? Girl, bye. No.
I know, like, the love of your life just died, but I need money. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you think of Kath's parents?
I thought, you couldn't really fault them for who they were. They were just, they were brought up in that society. So you could tell they loved her very much. And it sucked that they were so, like, controlling of her destiny and, like, you need to marry this person and, ladies shouldn't open bakeries. How dare they cook a biscuit? But you can't fault them for that because, like, that's what they were raised in. So, it's my opinion.
I expected more from her father. Like, kind of the glimpses we originally got of him, I thought he was going to, like, step in and, like, protect his daughter and be like, I just want you to be happy. But that didn't happen until it was way too late. Yeah. And so I thought he'd be that nice foil to their crazy mom who just wanted her to marry a king. But it turned out it did not come to pass for reasons of the plot.
I feel like kind of mixed about them. I think that they genuinely just wanted the best for their daughter, and they thought that like this would be the best thing for her because she'd have this whole kingdom and she would get to rule and she would be like secure and safe for the rest of her life. So I think like they really just did want her to have the best life that she could. They didn't consider her feelings, which was a huge problem, but they weren't like, we want to torture you and that's why you're marrying this guy.
Right.
We want you to be incredibly unhappy, so.
Yeah.
You're a terrible daughter, and
you hate you.
So gonna be fat one day.
Yeah.
I hated that stuff.
But that's typical.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I forgot about that.
But lots of moms.
Was she a Jewish mom?
I know. It's like, that's my mom in a nutshell.
Guilting her all the time.
Yeah.
Who do you think was the real villain of the story? Which makes it fun.
I've been torn on that. It's she presented it to where, the Peter Pumpkin Eater is obviously, in the what's it called? The Beast.
The Jabberwocky.
Jabberwocky, yeah. Were villains, but obviously Jabberwocky was a victim of eating bad pumpkin, and it seems it was the
pumpkin was the villain.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. I mean, and then you think about the Mad Hatter, he kind of like set that into motion, and his intentions were very like ambiguous and murky at times, but he also didn't do it maliciously. So I really like that there doesn't seem to be a specific villain, because everyone kind of has like sides of gray. Like Peter Pumpkin Eater, obviously he was bad news, but like he was destroyed over his wife and trying to protect her at the same time. So I don't really think there was a clear victim other than like society and the rules that it goes by. So
yeah, societal expectations.
Yep,
the villain of this story.
Mm-hmm.
Your answer too.
Yeah.
I kind of do feel like Peter was the villain. I feel like it was a mix between Peter and the Mad Hatter. The two of them were kind of villainous. And he says that he like threw those seeds there not knowing, but who knows if he did know and he just was like trying to come up with a new, like he was trying to clear the people out of Hearts so that the people who live in the white kingdom could come over and live there safely, and then like the red and white would each have their own kingdom.
Interesting theory.
I like that.
Yeah.
Wait,
so,
I just had a thought.
Okay.
Okay, Jack of Knaves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he in love with Kath, do you think?
Yes, totally.
Absolutely.
100%.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Just checking that we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
They never like really like explicitly said it, but I was like, he.
Yeah, very obvious.
Yeah. Do you think that the Mad Hatter was completely to blame for Peter's wife turning into the Jabberwocky?
I mean, it was him that threw the seeds, and it was his seeds, so I think he's partially to blame. And like you said, we don't really know like his intent, if it was purposeful or like you said, he just got rid of them. So I think your theory is interesting. I like it. Because he seems very, at times he seemed very like sweet and giving, but then it was like for selfish reasons. But then he found out he was in love with Jess. I don't know. He was very, very gray, and I liked that. So I feel like he was partially to blame. Yeah.
Why didn't he just eat those pumpkin seeds? It seems like a waste to like walk all the way over and be like, you want to buy these pumpkin seeds? And you can just roast them and eat them.
Yeah. And if he really didn't want them, why wouldn't he just throw them out instead of being
in his own yard?
Grow them where they'll grow anyway.
Yeah. And you could make a new hat. You can make several hats.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm on board with Kristen's alternate theory that he
it's cool.
knew what he was doing.
Thank you. It just came to me. Do you think that the Hatter had actually escaped time and his mind was intact by the end of the story, or do you think that he had already started going mad?
Oh, he definitely started going mad because of time, but also because Jess died, and it was clearly obvious that he was in love with him. So I think it was definitely
not bad.
Yeah, that was why he went through.
I know, I forgot that was that little touch at the end, and I was like, oh God, he loved him. So are you so mean to that girl he liked?
So, yeah, that's what makes... So I think he definitely is there, getting there.
Yeah, now he has to live with the guilt of inadvertently, possibly through certain actions, causing the death of his own friend and wannabe lover. Yeah, and that's going to drive anyone crazy.
Yeah, I think that he was already a little bit crazy. And he just kept saying that he was like escaping time, but I don't think that that was possible. But how did you feel about how they revealed that he loved Jess and everything, like his whole part in the story? Would you have preferred to have that like not have been answered, or do you like that we got more closure on his storyline?
I thought it was definitely interesting. I thought it was a cool touch. I thought it was cool, but despite that, I didn't need it. Like, I like that he's ambiguous and you don't really know his intentions. I feel like doing that it was kind of like a wash. Like, oh, well, this explains everything. And I kind of like when things aren't explained all the time, especially with him, that character.
I appreciated it. I thought it was cute and sad. And I like that, like, glimpse back into, okay, now that we've gone through this, let's see where we are with all the prophecies. Even though you knew it was going to happen, obviously, based on where the Mad Hatter is in Lewis Carroll's stories.
The whole time that I was reading this, I just saw Johnny Depp.
Yeah, me too.
God, I'm so sorry.
Anyway, else, like, that's...
Oh, you poor thing.
I tried so hard to, like, conjure my own, but nope.
Yeah, it's impossible. He ruined it.
I never imagined him, because he was never in an Alice in Wonderland movie. Tim Burton never made those. Those don't exist.
So my one thing with his, like, reveal of everything, I guess there were hints that he, like, kind of liked Jess or whatever. But I didn't totally get that until he said it. I was like, oh, okay. And that to me felt a little bit like Marissa Meyer's attempt to be like, my story is diverse. I have a gay character here.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone's white, but
I just felt like
everyone's gay.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you in this one sentence here at the end of the book that he's gay. So that
here's your bone.
That was my only thing. I was like, it just felt like too
right. Felt weird.
Yeah. What did you think of the king in the beginning, and did your opinion of him change at all throughout the story? And how do you think he's able to rule hearts for as long as he did?
I thought he was a simpleton, like Catherine described. He seemed very sweet and like very taken with her. Obviously very cowardly, just kind of like qualities of like a typical like nice rich person. They're sweet, they mean well, they're happy, but they're cowards. Like they don't know what it's like to struggle, to hurt. And obviously when the Jabberwocky came, he was just like, oh, let's have a party and let's not think about it. Who cares? Oh, we're going to kill someone? Let's throw a party instead. Yeah, let's dance. So it was kind of like, he was kind of like obnoxious to me just because I know guys like that. But you can't hate him because he's clearly not bad.
Yeah, he's not a bad person. He's just stupid. And that makes you... But in his defense, he is not an elected official, even though sometimes people get elected are not good people and shouldn't be elected. But in a monarchy, you can just be like, oh, we didn't pick him. So, maybe there's a lot of inbreeding. He's just real dumb. I don't know. But he was a very ineffective king. But at the same time, what really happens in Hearts besides maybe sometimes a Jabberwock shows up? Like, I feel like they don't have a lot of conflict, so it probably doesn't really matter that often.
I guess that's true. The whole time I was like, how is this man still in power? Like, how did he...
Because who's going to be like, we should overthrow that simpleton?
But I think almost anyone could have done it.
But
Cassie,
like a secret cousin could have come in and like poisoned him and taken over.
Yeah.
Cool.
But like no one there had any problems. No one was like rebellious.
Yeah.
The Jabberwocky was the first they'd seen in like decades. So I mean, like everyone's just like really chill and hanging out, having parties.
They were probably like, our money will protect us. We're fine.
It was crazy that they were all so willing to just like ignore these clear problems, have a dance instead.
Yeah.
Or he's like, oh my gosh, people are dying. Let's have a wedding.
Football.
Ridiculous.
Oh my God, I'm set to make millions of dollars off the country. I know. I'll complain about Hillary Clinton looking into recounting votes. That's just an example.
Okay.
Unrelated example.
Would you guys have listened to the Three Sisters prophecy, or would you have gone back to Hearts to help Marianne like Kath did?
Oh, hell no. If I loved Jess as much as Catherine thought, I'd be like, bye, bitch. You betrayed me. Your problem. I'm going to go be a queen in this room with my new love. Peace.
Wow. That's dark, Melissa. I felt really bad because the second she's like, you knew if she went back to Hearts that prophecy would come true. But as a human being, Melissa, how could you leave your... Okay, so you're with your true love, right? You're going to go live your new life. But Kristen has been kidnapped and is about to be eaten by a monster. What do you do?
Well, you're basically...
No, I'm asking...
You're going to know someone's going to die. Either your best friend or your true love. So you have to choose between them.
So your best friend you've known your whole life...
Or your true love.
Your true love, a guy you just met 3 days ago.
I mean, it depends who my true love was.
I don't know how I feel about this.
You hear that, Kristen?
I do. I have to like reevaluate things.
It's like Sophie's Choice.
No, it's not. You go back and say
you know who's gonna die.
And you hope for the best.
I mean, you know he's gonna die if you go through. The Mad Hatter pretty much told you.
Right. You're thinking of it as a reader. Like, as a reader, you were probably like, don't go there. What are you doing? Go live your happy life.
Yeah.
But as a real person, I think go back.
It's not the black and white. It's hard. Because, like, if you go through, you know for sure Jess is going to die. And if you don't know for sure what's going to happen to Marianne. Like, obviously it's something terrible, but you don't know for sure.
They gave her a poem about how she was going to get eaten.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard.
Rest in peace, Kristen.
Thank you. If I was in that situation, I wouldn't have been able to like leave my friend seeing them suffer. But I probably also would have questioned whether what I was seeing was the truth, since a lot of things are kind of messed up in her.
Is kind of a liar.
If she hadn't looked and never known, she probably would have just gone through and lived her life.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So how did you feel about the three sisters? Did you feel like their role in the story was absolutely necessary? Did you like how it, like everything played out around them?
I mean, obviously they had to have been included because, you know, they couldn't have gotten it on otherwise.
What?
Remember? They like went to the well.
When did that happen?
Remember he took her to the well to get like the magic stuff and they finally like got it on?
I don't think they
made out.
I don't think they like.
I thought they got it on.
They just like made out.
That they got it on. So that's where my mind went, like immediately. Maybe they just made out. Good for them. But, you know, in my mind, they got it on. It was fantastic.
In front of those three children?
I mean, they were like inside the well. I mean,
they could still hear things.
They would have. You know, this is like a different world. So
okay, those sisters said like, "Oh, you guys were kissing that whole time." They weren't like, and then you took your clothes off, touched each other. They didn't say that.
This is my fantasy interpretation of Heartless.
Okay,
in my mind, they got it on.
You're right. They got it on. You left an innocent woman to die. You're right.
Yeah, they got it on. I don't know if they were like totally necessary. It seemed kind of like a random thing. Especially because it's like the prophecy, we already know how it's going to end. We don't need like another prophecy to tell us. But I thought it was an interesting little addition.
They were super creepy, and I loved every second of them.
Me too. I really enjoyed them. I thought they were really, really cool. And I loved like at the end when they came into the palace to like take her heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're so cool.
That was cool.
And one of them had a fox mask, which is my favorite animal. So I liked that a lot.
You're just getting Court of Thorns and Roses feelings.
Yeah. So who is your favorite character and who is your least favorite character?
Favorite character was the cat, Cheshire. It's hilarious. As an animal. Favorite human character was probably the Hatter. Because I always like him. I think he's so neat and interesting. Least favorite character, probably Peter the Pumpkin Eater. He was just like mean all the time and like crabby and moody and annoying. And he killed Jess.
Sad. I didn't really feel bad though when he died. Sorry. Favorite? Yeah, I also liked Hatta. He was interesting, and he had all these layers that I really appreciated. I also did really like the Cheshire Cat. He was like everything I ever expected.
Mm-hmm.
Least favorite? Yeah, Peter was really off-putting. He was really handsy, which I didn't appreciate.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I might have hated the king more. Like, that whole scene where he's writing love letters, I was just like reading them like,
yeah.
Like, he's a nice guy, but
They're actually coming from a place of love. He like genuinely did like her.
It made it worse.
My favorite character was also the Mad Hatter. I thought that he was really great and he was really interesting. And I just liked getting all of that like backstory on him. And then my least favorite character, I actually kind of think was Kath.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah, she just really annoyed me the whole book. I never really liked her.
Yeah, annoying.
So in the Lunar Chronicles, Marissa Meyer took a lot of liberties in how she portrayed like all the famous princesses, and it obviously totally worked. Do you like what she chose to do in Heartless, like for the ending, or do you think that she could have done something different, like even though we obviously knew kind of how it was going to end?
When I first read it, I was like so crushed and heartbroken, just like how everything went, like Mad Hatter, like the truth about him and Jess and like everyone dying. So I hated it. And I was just like, no, this is too sad. Like, why couldn't she have changed it? But when my emotions died down a few days later, I realized that it was kind of badass. And, you know, I liked that she, you know, the last line was off with his head. I thought that was cool. So, yeah, conflicting emotional responses based on a week.
Yeah, you were distraught.
I was.
I know, she was so upset.
I think it was because I was just like really, it was like a bad time for our country when I was reading it. So I was very like upset.
Oh no, you were reading it during the election?
Like, you know, that whole time. So I needed something with hope, and this felt like the opposite of that. So it really affected me more than I think it would have read at a different time.
That text was so funny. You were like, oh my God, like the ending, I can't. I was like, but we know that she's evil. And you were like, I just maybe thought that things would be different.
I didn't read the synopsis, so I just assumed it would turn out okay.
I just hoped that it would.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad you grew to appreciate it.
Yeah, it was just a bad time. You know when you read books at like certain emotional points?
Yeah.
That's what it was. I was like, I needed hope, and this gave me nothing.
I think I read it long enough after the election. You know, we'll never be far enough away from this, but I think I like a good villain arc, and you know, it ended just the way I wanted it to. Unhappy and everyone evil. just what I wanted.
Yeah, I totally knew what I was getting myself into when I was starting this book, so I was expecting it. I think that if there would have been a happy ending, it would have been confusing, and then there would have had to be like a second book because it's supposed to be how she turned evil.
Yeah. I was wondering if maybe they were going to do like an alternate timeline thing. Yeah. But based on Melissa's reaction, I was like, no, they're not.
Yeah, no, there's no hope here.
Yeah, I was hoping for that too. I was like, maybe it's like a different world and they change everything, or there's like two of them, or
that's what I was wondering. Yeah,
like kidnap the Red Queen
would make two of them,
or something. Yeah, I thought it was
something. What I was worried is that she would marry the king anyway, and Jess would have to watch them be married, and that made me really sad. But when they killed him, and I was like, oh, it's fine. And you could be evil. That was okay to me for some reason. It was a much happier ending.
I liked the description a lot of like when she lost her heart and she was like, everything was fine and I didn't feel anything. And then I ordered people to get decapitated.
Off with his head.
How many stars did you give to Heartless, and would you recommend it to other people?
I think I gave it 3, and I liked it. Like I said, now that I'm like thinking about it, I would probably give it like 3.5. I would definitely recommend it. I think it's interesting, and I mean, I would recommend it if you're into this, you know, prequels and like villain stories, because I know a lot aren't. That's usually me actually. I don't like prequels where I know it's going to happen at the end. Like, I like to be surprised, but unless it's really good, and I enjoyed it. So if you're into this world, especially like Alice in Wonderland and villain arcs, then totally.
I gave it a 4 because it had 2 of my favorite things, Alice in Wonderland and evil villains. I also really thought it was really beautifully written. I think Marissa Meyer did a really good job with that. I would only recommend it to a very specific person, though.
Yeah.
Like, this wouldn't be an everybody recommendation because I can see why it had such mixed reviews. So, a very specific person who likes a good unhappy ending would be someone I would recommend this to.
Yeah. I also gave it 3.5 stars. I think that there were a lot of things about it that were done like very well. And I know that a lot of people had issues with like the pacing, and they felt like certain parts of it were boring and stuff. And I could see why they would say that, but also I didn't feel like this was necessarily a book that I was reading for action. Like, it was because Wonderland is like an interesting place.
Right.
So I appreciated all the time that she took to develop different areas of the world and just to give us like fun insight into characters that we already kind of have a history with. So I really enjoyed it, and I also would recommend it to a very specific person, not for someone who's looking for hope of any kind.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, do you want to feel happy and hopeful about the world?
Or do you want to continue to feel like total shit? Like, when I read it, I was sobbing. I was like, oh, this is so unfair.
How do you think it compared to the Lunar Chronicles?
I thought it was really different. Yeah, the Lunar Chronicles, she took incredible liberties. You know, like Cinderella was like half mecha.
But just like the original French one, she was southward.
I thought it was really different, especially because it was like very close to the source material, you know. And we did know how it was going to end, despite me hoping that it wouldn't end that way. So I thought it was very different. I like the Lunar Chronicles more, though. So that's my thing.
I agree. It was very different, but I think that was because it was a prequel versus retelling. And I saw at the end that she kind of thanked Gregory Maguire, who did Wicked, which was also another fairy tale prequel. So I kind of was like, yes, I see that.
What I like.
Comparing them would be hard. I like them each for their own separate reasons, I will say.
Yeah, I thought it was cool to see her do something like that from an outward perspective. Seems like it would be really similar, but when you actually read the two, they're so totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt like, spoilers for the Lunar Chronicles, but the Lunar Chronicles ended with everyone being happy, which I felt like
alive.
It was like almost fake.
Yeah, like, it seemed a little bit unrealistic to me.
Yeah.
But then this was so unhappy, but it was still had like the magic of her writing and everything. Like, I feel like her writing is very easy to get into. It's very like accessible. And it's just pleasant to read her prose. It's not something that is like very challenging, but it's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
So there were definite similarities, but they were also like totally different. Is there another fairy tale that you would like to see her tackle, or do you want to see her do something like even different?
Beauty and the Beast. I mean, just because that's my favorite of all time, so I always want to see every author's interpretation of it.
She already did Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
In that short story, which was really good, so I can't do that. I don't know, I'd like to see what else she can do besides fairy tale retellings. Like, I'm curious where she would go, because she is such a great writer.
Yeah.
She built such amazing worlds, so I'd like to see where she would go without source material.
She's supposed to write a story about superheroes.
Oh, okay.
But if she were to do another fairy tale, I think I would probably also want to either see Beauty and the Beast, because we don't have enough of those.
Yeah.
Especially these days.
Or Peter Pan, since that's like one of my favorites. I feel like that could be interesting.
Okay, Peter Pan is a robot. That's all I got.
Or I would read a prequel about Captain Hook. Something happy like this.
Oh my god, that'd be so great. We can find out why he hates that crocodile so much. Maybe they had a little quarrel.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Standoff. In a sexy way.
So before we go, we are going to announce our book for December, and we are going to be reading The Amateurs by Sarah Shepard.
Holding it imaginarily because I don't have it yet.
Me either.
The author of Pretty Little Liars. For those who don't know, this is like a new YA book, and it is a mystery. It's people that I think they like come together to try to solve the mystery of this case that has been dead for like a while, and then they kind of come back.
Oh, like a cold case?
And yeah, and they get like new leads and stuff. So it sounds like it'll be interesting. Sarah Shepard is really good at doing mysteries, so I'm excited for this one. I'm going to get the actual book too, because I have an arc of it.
Do you think it was twins? Do you think twins did it?
Maybe.
Twins?
Literally anything is possible with Sarah Shepard. The most ridiculous things happen. So we're
Twins.
excited for that.
She loves twins.
So why don't you guys tell everyone where they can find you, and then we'll wrap this up.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and everywhere else as Mecca Melissa.
You can find me on the internet, Twitter and Instagram, Goodreads as Yurchmonger. That is YRCHMONGER. Or on my book blog, Bibliomantics, which Kristen's husband made a very nice logo for that I can't wait to share with you all.
Ooh.
It does look really good. I'm excited for you to. And you can find me here on this YouTube channel, or on Twitter and Instagram as Super Space Chick or Goodreads. And that's pretty much it.
Oh, wait, join our Goodreads group. We have a Goodreads group.
Oh yeah, we do have a Goodreads group, and Cassie is the one that really handles that. I don't really.
I usually drunkenly post on it after this.
So you can keep up to date and find out what books we're reading. But that's all that we have for this show, and we will see you guys next month to talk about The Amateurs. Bye.